Boys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Super pumped about this video today. First to the channel, but I want to walk you guys through an entire day's worth of eating on a lean bulk. And as you guys know, we're going to be maximizing muscle gain, minimizing fat, and not doing these bodybuilding approaches, or honestly these bulking approaches that literally suck. So hopefully you guys could see a day in the life. Honestly, I've never really made one of these, so super stoked to kind of give you, guys, what it honestly looks like. But I hope you guys could walk away with this video that nutrition should honestly be the easiest part. Literally 80% of results should come from this. And hopefully some of these mental frameworks and some of the stuff I'm going to break down makes it a little easier, simple, that you guys could walk away with and literally pocket muscle gaining and to do it the right way without packing on any fat. So guys, let's get right into it. Full day's worth of eating. All right, so we got our snack for the day. We got some organic peanut butter, class, solid apple, and then we've been rocking with these Chobani yogurts. I don't know if you guys ever had these, but absolute fire. Here's a box. Berry, the best one. You can go, I think there's like strawberry and then like a couple other ones, but these are honestly the staple. And usually when I do my snack for the day, I try to have it be a good source of like a protein intake, because I'm hitting anywhere from 240 to 260 grams a day, which decent amount. So right here, each one of these bad boys is around 11 grams of protein. So this would be 22. Peanut butter is a really good source for fat and protein content. So generally speaking, I'll do anywhere, I think like 100 grams of peanut butter, which will honestly come out to a decent amount of protein and fats and a little bit of carbs. I'll throw those macros on the screen here too. But generally speaking, this, like when you're doing your your snacks, I try to always make this protein source or protein based, because like when you're doing your meals, it's always best to make sure it can complement your lifestyle. And for me, generally speaking, I try to do anywhere from 2 meals and a snack. So again, that's going to be a lot of protein intake depending on how you do it. And again, guys, like when you're doing your protein intake, always try to separate by how many meals you do throughout the day. It just breaks it apart and makes it a little bit easier. Because Greek yogurt, really macro friendly, really high in protein. Peanut butter, a really good source of fat. And then you have your apple, which is a good carb source. But that makes it generally, a little easier. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys. So I've been doing this double espresso, black coffee with half and half, fire. And I honestly, like, this is how I usually, start my mornings. And good, honestly, like, you can have a good source of black coffee. The only thing with black coffee is it's really, besides, like, don't put the other shit in it. You don't need, like, French vanilla, none of that, just do straight black. I threw a little of a half and half on it, which is cool, but generally speaking, I do try to do black. But this snack right here, really good high protein source, and it's easy. Here's the thing, like, again, looking at your protein intake, you want to make sure it's really easy and simple and it's quick. That's why it's a snack. And why a lot of people really struggle in their protein goals is because they don't make it simple. They don't make it easy on themselves, and they have to overcomplicate stuff. No. Guys, this is really simple. It literally took me 15 seconds. The coffee maybe took 30 seconds to make, but you guys get the point. It's that simple and that easy. So we have snack one for the day. We're gonna have meal one, and then we're gonna have meal 2. And this is honestly gonna be everything we need to hit our protein, our macros of the day, and to literally manifest this lean bulk. Because when you're doing this lean bulk, guys, the protein intake is a really important part. And if you're not getting your consistent protein intake every single day, it's gonna be really hard to optimize results, because essentially, again, we're only in a 200 to 300 calorie surplus, but we have to make sure our macros are tailored towards it. If you guys don't know how to track your macros or, set that up, I literally broken down a whole video that literally goes like step by step. That something I do every time I recalculate my macros, my macros, on how I go about essentially building this muscle. I'll link that video in the description below, but that's literally what I follow for this. And then I make my meals a way to kind of like complement that. So what I mean by that is, like, I only choose my favorite protein sources. I only choose the foods that I enjoy or I essentially like, and then I make sure I stay consistent with it. Like I said, if you don't like this, I think we seriously need to have a talk, because these are literally great. You could do the Chobani, the French vanilla, or just the standard vanilla one. I like the berries because it's honestly like a lot better, but generally speaking, this is all you need. And this is, again, another thing is, the reason I always choose, not only organic peanut butter, but peanut butter in my diet is because I'm at anywhere from 27 to 2800 calories on my bulk right now. Peanut butter is a really good calorie dense whole food based to really get the macros in. So this is always a great source. And again, high protein source right here. So we're gonna get this meal going. We're gonna slam this coffee, and yeah, I hope you guys like the day in the life stuff. I mean, honestly, like, generally speaking, it's the same thing. I'll maybe swap out like later in the day my ground beef for chicken, or my chicken for steak. But generally speaking, it's usually 3 to 4 protein sources, a good snack to start the day off, and then we'll just rinse and repeat the process every single day to keep on stacking on results. Make sure we look jacked and great, and honestly, like, that's really it. So I am super stoked. I'm gonna do so much more of these, but first one, you guys gotta let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm gonna walk you guys through the rest of the day, and honestly, like, walk you through what you need to literally master results and manifest your dream body. Because honestly, like, the diets, guys, is literally 80% of the work. Your training's 20%. You put those two together on top of that, it's an absolute cheat code. Like, literally absolute cheat code. Because again, like, I look at my 8-year journey, I wish I knew this stuff right now that I've broken down, because lean bulk is the way to do everything. Literally everything. If you want the ability to literally just like unlock your dream body, do a lean bulk. Do not do a standard bulk or a bodybuilding approach, guys. That shit sucks. It just doesn't help you get to where you want to be. And the more you do this, then honestly, like, makes the process enjoyable, and everything literally stems from, I think everything in your life stems from having a good diet, being in good shape, because it not only solves most of your problem, but you unlock your mental state up here. So I'm gonna crush this meal. I'm gonna get right into it. I gotta open this. This is a new jar. I'm just pretty stoked. I think you can see, like, let's see, brand new. Woo. All right, so we're gonna get digging in this meal. I don't think you guys actually want to watch me eat my food. I think that'll be, I don't know, not the best use of time. So I'm gonna get this meal in, and then I'll see you guys in the next part of the day, because we're gonna be absolutely crushing these macros. All right, so we just finished up meal 1. As you guys can see, we got 6 eggs, got some ground beef, and then we got some cheese. So this is a really good staple I like to do in my lean bulk. So right now, just honestly, because like I have to throw the macros in my head right now, we got 6 eggs, so it should be around 36 grams. 200 grams should be out to, I think, like 30 to 40. Don't put me on the head. I'll put the macros on the screen, but right there, that's at least an 80 to 100 gram macro meal right here, specifically the protein intake. And the reason I like kind of doing it this way is having a meal like this is because, generally speaking, I like to eat 3 meals throughout the day, sometimes 4, but I hate spending so much time cooking. It's honestly annoying. So when I do like a meal like this, it really hits a good amount of my protein intake, my macros specifically. And honestly, like, boys, this looks fire. The one thing I do wish I had was like mixed veggies on top. But general staples in my diet, usually when I do like a lean bulk or just pretty much standard every single day, are eggs, ground beef, chicken. But the most important part I always make sure when I'm doing stuff like this is to make sure I'm actually counting my macros. Because here's the thing, if you're doing a lean bulk, like I know you boys are, you're not doing a standard bulk or traditional bodybuilding approach, because it sucks. But the reason you want to count your macros so specifically, essentially, is because when you really want to get the results, you only have to make sure that you're in an incremental surplus every single day. And when you do it like this, you're not only minimizing the fat gain, but you're maximizing muscle growth. And when you can consistently do this, you're going to gain anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds each month, depending on your body type, depending on how you go. But that's an easy way to literally make sure you automate results. And 80% of the work comes from your diet. Like, guys, like, I have to take a bite. I cannot just sit here. So I hope you boys don't mind, but I'm starving. Fire. But a lot of hot sauce in that bite. But generally speaking, like, this meal right here is really not that too much money, essentially. It's pretty easy and it's pretty simple. And this is my first meal of the day. It is kind of later in the day, so right now I think we're around, don't have a watch on, but it's around 12. And when you're doing anywhere from like 2 to 3 meals, I have to eat anywhere from between 240 to 260. I believe my macro intake's around 260 on the dot, just off the top of my head. And generally speaking, that's a lot of protein. But here's the thing. If you want to enable great results, you have to see what's more sustainable around your lifestyle. And the more sustainable you can do around your lifestyle, the more you're actually going to stick with it. And this is something I had to learn in the process, because I would do 6-7 meals. And don't get me wrong, like, like anywhere from between 4 to 6 meals is better for your body to break down the protein, essentially. So it's always in like protein synthesis. You're actually like using the muscle to, using your nutrients to honestly use it for muscle growth. But for me speaking, I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of get away with a little more, which I honestly like. I know it's better speaking to do 3 to 4 meals, but the reason I enjoy doing like anywhere from like 3 meals right now, I should be doing like 4 to 5, is because I can leverage sustainability. I know that if I stick with, this kind of like lifestyle, I'll stick with it long term. It makes it more enjoyable. And honestly, like, there's no better way to eat your favorite foods, smash your goals, and stick with it. And the biggest caveat with this is essentially playing the consistency card, because consistency is really hard if you're doing stuff you don't enjoy. But if you could do it stuff you actually enjoy, you're going to enable more momentum. The more momentum you build, the more results you're going to get. The more results you're going to get, the more you're going to stick with it. And it's a continuous cycle. And that's why when you're packing on muscle, or, there's a point where you're going to be maintaining, or, essentially you could do a little cut, but there's not really going to be that much big of a cut, because when you're lean bulking, you're not really getting too much excess fat gain. That's a really good part about this. But it all stems from sustainability, stuff you actually enjoy in the process, because that is the biggest thing. It's like your diet for Central, guys. Like, you look at your diet. If your diet is not comprised of your favorite foods, you're not going to stick with it. I can promise you that. Like, it's just not going to stick with it, because again, like for me, I hate tuna. If I put tuna in my diet, I am not eating it. I don't that shit's gross. Like, sorry guys, but like canned tuna is disgusting. I'll eat like raw tuna, but like canned tuna, no bueno. And that's just for me. But there's thousands of protein sources that you guys could use to make sure you stick with it long term. And that's the biggest thing with your diet. And I wanted to give you guys, like, this is the first one on the channel, so I'm super honestly pumped to put you like a day in the life of, a full day eating, because generally speaking, it's going to be anywhere from 3 to 4 meals. Obviously, this is meal 1. This is honestly like, like I said, 80 to 100 grams of protein, but honestly, like, this is like a staple meal. I kind of honestly always do ground beef, but I've been seeing this stuff on social media about like the eggs and then the ground beef. It's fire, guys. Like, I'm telling you, gotta try it. But like the way I do go about my ground beef and the eggs, just to touch on a little bit more, is I always do pasture raised eggs, just because it's a little cleaner and honestly it tastes great. And the thing with ground beef is, especially when you're doing it, if you're doing it more as like a fatty percentage, so like if you're going anywhere from 80-20, 80-15, it's gonna have more fat content in it. But I do anywhere from 9 to 10, so it maximizes the lean muscle, or the lean protein source in it. So it's not as much calories, but it also gives me higher of a protein intake for the meal itself, which honestly reduces the fat percentage. So again, I kind of do this. I don't like doing anywhere from 85-15, 80-20. I like to stay in the 90-10 range. I think that's perfect. Maybe a little more expensive where you go, but I'm telling you, it's totally worth it. Then we got, there's this hot sauce I've been rocking. It's called Louisiana hot sauce, fire. And then the cheese is just a standard taco cheese. So guys, this is meal 1. Insane macros, awesome meal right here. Super stoked to kind of walk you guys through the next meal of the day. But honestly, like, if you have not tried this, the only thing I'm missing is mixed veggies. So I'm gonna throw in mixed veggies next time. I'm gonna take another bite because I'm freaking starving. Fire. Absolute fire. All right, so now we got our last meal of the day. We're gonna do a little grilled chicken sandwich. Absolute fire. So we got some mozzarella cheese right here. Of course, our sourdough bread, not white bread, our sourdough bread. Honestly, class. It's so healthy, so good, and it honestly tastes great once you get it a little toasted. It's a little cheat code. Some grilled chicken, shredded lettuce, and then we got some pasture-raised butter from Whole Foods. This stuff is class. Like, I always thought butter really wasn't the best for your diet, but butter's a really good fat source. But also, if you get pasture-raised, it's so much cleaner than the other stuff. Like, if you actually look at the ingredients, I'm not going to read it off, but if you look at the ingredients of the butter, always try to choose pasture raised. It tastes a lot better, it's a lot cleaner, and you can actually use as a good source of fat. But here's the thing, when I do my last meal, I always pick up in bulk, like every 2 weeks, honestly a week and a half. I pick up 12 pounds of pre-made chicken. And grilled chicken's honestly one of those foods that's really cost effective. It honestly tastes great, and it has killer macros, especially the protein intake. I'm gonna chef this up, but I kind of want to just break down this meal and everything I have here and essential contents, because The biggest thing with hitting, say like I'm trying to hit like 240, 260 grams a day, it's a lot of protein. But the biggest thing with that is picking up large quantity and large bulks. And there's two ways I kind of go about it for my diet. Either I pre-cook in large quantities, so I'll pick up like raw chicken, ground beef, batch cook it, so for the honestly for the entire week I have everything I need, so it's really simple, really easy. It doesn't allow me to honestly miss. Or I pick up, there's this like Italian deli by me where I just pick up like 10 to 12 pounds of grilled chicken. I got this yesterday. Not that expensive, and it's a good way. And like picking up like pre-cooked meal or essentially pre-cooked food already, it's going to be a little more expensive side, but this is the way I kind of see it. Eating out is anywhere from like 20 to 30 bones. So if you're eating out and you pick up, say you spend a little extra to pick up, some pre-cooked food, it's not the biggest end of the world, I guess, where your budget is. But honestly, like for me, I generally speak, eat the same stuff every single day. So I always go towards this, but you really can't complain. So I try to do anywhere from 4 to 6 pieces of this right here. The mozzarella cheese is also a really good protein source and fat content. You can see now you can see on this side. And then sourdough bread, really good carb source. And the really good thing here, I kind of want to break down with sourdough bread. Compared to your standard carbs, if you could use sources that are more complex carbs, so it takes your body longer to break down, it's going to use as more sustained energy longer. You're going to get the benefits of actually using like real food, not like processed white bread where it's absolute crap. And then of course you have your grass-fed butter. And this is our last meal right here for the day. So this meal will be anywhere from, I believe, like 80 to 90 grams. Once I put it in, I'll also throw the macros right here. But I just wanted to break it down to you guys. Like, that's a full day of eating for me. I know it's only 3 meals, but it's honestly not too hard. But the biggest thing I think with me is, in order to like really do it successfully, is just staying consistent. I try to eat around the same times, generally speaking, the same foods. And honestly, like the biggest thing for me is I always make sure I have my protein source first, and then I surround the remaining of my meal around it. So what do I mean by that? It's like essentially like, if I don't know what I want to eat, the first question I ask is, what's my protein source? And then the rest of the meal honestly gets made from that. It's kind of like a stupid thing to do, but I just think it helps because it really just allows me to stay on track with my macros and to make sure that, again, I'm hitting my protein intake. Because if I'm eating 260 grams a day, 240, I think it's around like in between that range, that's, it's a lot of protein to say the least. So generally speaking, it's going to be 100 grams for both my meals, and the snacks, and I have to do the remaining amount. But if I understand that, okay, like in my head, I could understand that for my snack and for my meal one, I'm at 120, say 140. Say I need 100 grams left. I have that mental calculation in my head, and then I could kind of backfill it in, with this grilled chicken right here. And obviously I would be I track all my stuff on MyFitnessPal, so I know what I have to hit. It's like a math equation. So like I'm this short, I gotta have this amount of proteins, fats, and carbs. But mentally, like when I'm not like, of course, just like having my pre-cooked meals every single day, I always count my protein in my head, because then it always gives me a ballpark of how much I have left. And that's another cool trick I do for hitting my protein intake, especially for your lean bulk boys. Like, this is extremely important, staying consistent with their protein, because it's not only going to help you maintain that muscle mass, but it's it's going to help you build muscle. It's going to eliminate those cheat meals. It's not going to let you get off your diet, because you're going to feel so satiated from eating all this. It's like the biggest thing, or the biggest way you need to honestly do this this lean bulk successfully, is just staying consistent. And a lot of people think that consistency is too hard, or it's not meant for them. Boys, consistency is honestly like the easiest thing once you get it sustainable to your lifestyle, to your routine, and you make sure you can just honestly show up every single day. Once you do those 3